Okay, so let's talk about feeling your feelings in recovery and why that's so hard. Well, I think the basis is that we don't like to be uncomfortable. Totally valid, right? And as I mentioned up above, there are a lot of reasons that we can also be scared or anxious about these emotions. So here's what's really important in recovery is slowing down and having a curiosity about why we are wanting to avoid these feelings, right? When I started recovery, I was so overwhelmed by all the emotions that I started feeling that I had been distracting from and suppressing through my eating disorder behaviors that I was hardly functionable. It took some time to learn how to tolerate these feelings, how to manage them in healthy ways. And this is where going to therapy or having a coach can be really helpful in learning some of these coping skills that are healthy. Because being totally honest, my first attempt at not using eating disorder behaviors to manage my feelings ended up being some other not so healthy strategies. So you have to be really careful about that too. Okay, so one of the things that also keep in mind about feeling your feelings is exploring, again, why you are wanting to avoid. What is it that you are afraid of or anxious about? Does it go deeper than just not liking the feeling of being uncomfortable emotionally? Maybe it's more than that. Maybe we are worried that those feelings will last forever, and we need to remind ourselves of the ebb and flow of emotions. Maybe we need to examine whether we have some irrational beliefs about emotions, meaning that they're bad or wrong, that whether that's anger and that it's not okay to be angry at other people, or maybe it's not okay to feel depressed or anxious. I see this a lot in my religious clients who come from a faith background where there's a lot of shame for having mental health struggles. Like, if I just had enough faith, I wouldn't feel these ways and I shouldn't feel these ways. So really doing some unpacking. Again, that's where therapists can be really helpful in helping unpack some of what's going on there. Because it's more than just trying to deal with the symptoms. We really wanted to get to the root of things. Otherwise, it's like mowing over your weeds and then they just come right back and you keep struggling with the same things over and over and over. Whereas if you get down to the root and you pull those weeds up by the root, then they don't come back so easily. So if there's anything that I can help you with, or my coach Lindley can help you with as far as learning to tolerate these uncomfortable emotions, I almost call them negative emotions because we see that a lot, but I don't like to call them negative emotions because they're really not. Anger, sadness, loneliness, all these things, they feel negative and we think of them that way, and that contributes to us wanting to avoid them at all costs, but they're not really negative. They're very normal emotions and they are part of the human experience, and truly sometimes they're actually really helpful because they alert us to something, right? If it's anger, it might be that somebody has violated our boundaries or has hurt us in some way. If it's loneliness, it might point to a need for connection with other people, right? So reframing how we see these emotions and not seeing them necessarily as negative. Uncomfortable, yes, they feel negative because they can be so unpleasant, but that doesn't necessarily make them bad. So reframing them and seeing them as an opportunity to learn more about what's going on with us, or maybe what are some needs that aren't being met, that can also be a really important first step in this process. So again, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can address it in a future email, or if you need some support, please reach out to me and let me know that too. You can go to the website or you can just reply to this email and we can see about getting you connected with some therapy or some coaching. So let me know. All right, have a great day.